Taz Effect hits you like a wave, a fresh new spin on the news you crave. Turn the page and you see the light, a different angle that feels so right. No more waiting for the truth to show. Every story starts to glow. Daily news in a way you didn't know. It's the Taz Effect that steals the show. Open your mind, let the colors flow. Daily news in a way you didn't know.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me here for the Taz Effect, daily news in a way you did not know you could use. Do not forget, today is Mutual Aid Monday. We don't have a particular person to spotlight this Monday, so I'm just going to say what I always say. Help your neighbor, even if your neighbor is just digital. There's a lot to get into, starting off with after all of the posturing and bullying that Trump has tried to do over the past year after being sworn in to the rest of the world, his tariffs, his bullying of NATO, everyone's telling him, no, the US is the greatest and has the biggest and most spectacular army. Y'all got this in regards to this war that you started. And Japan pretty much said that. They said, you got this big, beautiful army, this big, beautiful military. Use it. Hey, Annabelle. So, yes, Trump has gotten us into a war that he claims the whole world wants, and the whole world is telling us that he's a liar in real time. Moving on from that, you all remember Timu Nazi Man, Greg Bavino. Border Patrol's Gregory Bavino to retire from federal service, sources say. Outspoken Border Patrol official Gregory Bavino is retiring from federal service at the end of this month after being pulled away from a high-profile role leading immigration raids in major U.S. cities. Two sources directly familiar with his decision told CBS News on Monday. Over the past years, Bavino, a longtime Border Patrol official, has been serving as the chief patrol agent of the El Centro sector along the California-Mexico border. But he quickly became a leading public face of the Trump administration's aggressive crackdown on illegal immigration after he was deployed to cities across the U.S. to oversee sweeping and often controversial immigration raids. Now, there are a lot of people that are like, yes, this is a great thing. Walk with me here, okay? This is a man, okay, brimming with Napoleon complex, seeping in white supremacy, who is no longer going to be under the constraints, however minute they were, of the federal government. We were saying that we aren't really seeing the 3%ers and the Proud Boys patrolling the streets how they were before. My fear is that he will go and lead and create his own little faction and wreak havoc on us still. Because he was not a newly, freshly minted Border Patrol official. He had more than a decade in the game. So, hey, Secret. So, I don't know. Now, Susie Wiles. Y'all remember Susie Wiles? The one person that seemingly can tell Trump what to do, thinks Trump's an idiot, and thinks all of her co-workers in the White House are dummies? Not my words. That's essentially what she said in those 11 Vanity Fair interviews. Well, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles diagnosed with breast cancer. If you thought this woman didn't give a shit before, I really don't think she's going to give a shit now. If you want to know what's going on, now is the time to ask her. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has been diagnosed with an early stage of breast cancer, she confirmed Monday. This past week, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, Wiles, 68, said in a statement. Nearly 1 in 8 women in the United States will face this diagnosis. Every day, these women continue to raise their families, go to work, and serve their communities with strength and determination. I will now join their ranks. I bet you will, because with your job as the first female chief of staff of the White House, you you have access to the health care that the rest of us don't. Prognosis is good for you, and kudos to you. But, and some people may say I'm going to sound ageist for this, and I might. I might. Let's put it in the slow cooker and let it simmer, okay? Can we go back to a time that if people of a certain age were working, they were doing passion projects? They were going to work for a little extra pocket change. They were going to volunteer at schools and stuff like that. I don't think that the people making decisions for us and our well-being should be pushing 70. We have a geriatric federal government right now that's already skeleton bones. We need people who can relate to the median age of the country. And let's face it, one president that everybody's like, oh, you should have had more years with him. JFK. He wasn't a geezer. President Trump Sr. and Wiles said she will be staying on in her position during treatment. It's unclear what treatment she will be receiving. She has a fantastic medical team and her prognosis is excellent, Mr. Trump posted on Truth Social. During the treatment period, she will be spending virtually full time at the White House, which makes me, as president, very happy. Her strength and her commitment to continue doing the job she loves and does so well while undergoing treatment tells you everything you need to know about her. You know the messaging that could have been put out right now? Talking about healthcare. Even if you were just going to lie to us, talk about, hey, Congress, maybe push through some things. Hey, Mandy, that would benefit people, us regular, degular, schmegular folks when it comes to healthcare. Tale of the Crypt New Congress. Yeah. But yes, Trump, find a way to make everything about yourself. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. More airport disruptions expected as TSA agents quit amid first weekend without full pay. I hope you all have taken note that we keep having government shutdowns and people keep having to go without pay when Trump is in office. So I would like for somebody to please tell me how everybody does so much better with him in office. I'm not even going to say with a Republican in office, specifically with him in office, because all of the history that he's making has not been positive history. 1 month into the partial government shutdown, hundreds of Transportation Security Administration workers going without full pay have quit, while others have taken unscheduled time off, prompting more travel headaches as winter storm slams the Midwest and spring break travelers tried to fly. At times Monday, wait times reported at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport and Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport stretched up to nearly 2 hours long. Okay. For anybody complaining about any, okay, I know none of us really like to be inconvenienced, but would you rather be delayed for a couple of hours or not be paid for a month or 2 or 6? Would you essentially like to apply for a job, get said job, and be turned into a volunteer? Like, let's start putting things in terms like that. Because remember during the COVID lockdown, and some of y'all were confused thinking that you were essential. Hey, Tracina, and you found out you weren't essential. And you found out who was essential to society. And instead of being grateful and thankful that these people were still willing to risk their lives to get you the stuff that you need, and in a lot of instances you want, you told them to suck it up, let you treat them like shit, and if they didn't like it, get better jobs. And what did they do? They took advantage of free courses that were available during the lockdown and everything else, and they got better positions. A lot of the positions that y'all begged to come to your areas that you decided were too lowbrow for you. And then you got upset because you started going back to your favorite watering hole and you had to wait. Y'all were so y'all were cheering from the rafters with the Doge cuts. We're weeding out the bureaucracy. And now that things are more inconvenient, you want to complain more. Y'all keep walking yourselves into distress and discomfort. I've said this before. Once upon a time, a benefits package at a job was a benefits package. Not only did you have better benefits as far as healthcare, dental, vision, etc. You have more options for savings. You got discount cards for local businesses and sometimes regional or national businesses. But you allowed yourself to be talked out of it. Y'all, who are you mad at now? You don't even have a job. But you get mad because I'm explaining. You'll survive. Like, you get mad at unions. You get mad at people sticking up for defending you and stepping in the gaps to make sure you're paid well. He always has good commentary. Yes, he does have a job. Driving me crazy is not a job, Jay. It's a job to him, but it's not a job. Yelling at people to get off my lawn. Y'all, you gave up everything, and then you complain about it. Yep, bought into the we're just like family. And I'm glad you brought that up. The employers saying, oh, we're just family. You all realize this. And I know people get up in arms when I bring this, just like Lavert the Basement says on TikTok. Everything traces back to racism. And they with this, oh, we're all family. Do it for the family. That started during the days of chattel slavery. Why do you think people, notorious slave owners and slave breeders like Thomas Jefferson, like they were like family? They were like family. I need you to realize everybody doesn't treat their family well. So they weren't necessarily lying, but everybody doesn't treat their family well. Yep, nepotism race with no benefits. But now coming from the realm of y'all ain't gonna believe this. You're not, because I had to do some quadruple takes on this because I was just like, ain't no way, ain't no possible plausible way. But where there's some type of will, there's a way. Stephen Miller argues birthright citizenship steals actual birthright of every American. It's always the ones whose lineage did not start off here that say stuff like that. Keep in mind, he's married to a Latina woman. They have children. She's currently with child. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said that birthright citizenship allows foreigners to gain an unfair claim to American citizenship, arguing the policy undermines the rights of people already in the United States. I can't say the no word. I want to. In a post on Twitter, yes, I know what is currently called. Just like family. Well, my family doesn't much care what to say. Yeah. Offering birthright citizenship to the world when the world is just one plane trip from the United States steals the actual birthright of every American. Let me repeat that. Offering, and he says birthright citizenship in quotation marks, offering birthright citizenship to the world when the world is just one plane trip from the United States steals the actual birthright of every American. What is below stupid? Like, what is below stupid? Thank you, Twin. Thank you, Tristina. What? Miller's comments come as the Supreme Court prepares to hear arguments over President Donald Trump Sr.'s executive order restricting birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to parents who lack legal immigration status or hold temporary visas. The administration has framed the policy as part of its broader effort to tighten immigration rules and curb what it describes as abuse of citizenship laws. I want to note right here that Donald John Trump Sr. has a child that currently holds dual citizenship. Said child was born in the United States, but also has Slovenian citizenship. But let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Abortion is bad because it kills babies. We're not producing enough babies. So women should go back to being traditional women, but not quite traditional women, just this newfangled definition of traditional women. And in fact, become incubators for babies to pop out babies because we need a workforce, not so much consumers, but a workforce. So people who are willing to come here and be the workforce that the baby makers can't be right now, and they have babies, that's a bad thing. They can't ever be citizens. All while Trump, who said immigrants bad, come here lest you white, is now looking at the migrant population and saying, hey, can you do me a solid and come help be the workforce? Oh, it's ghetto. I wanna leave. What? I can't say the no word. Day drinking is bad. You can only get so high. We're not going to get banned today. We are not going to get banned today. We are not going to get banned today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. Keep the thoughts inside your head. Day drinking is never bad, just frowned upon. You need off this timeline, Twin. I need off that. And bibbing during the day is bad. I'm cooked already. I'm on the job. I just drinking at work, bad. Drinking at work, bad. Supporters of the policy, including several Republican lawmakers, argue that the current interpretation of the 14th Amendment allows people to travel to the United States specifically to secure citizenship for their children. I'm going to give y'all two guesses as to the type of people who come to the United States to specifically get citizenship for their children. Because I'm going to tell you they're not staying. And you want to know how I know this? Because way back yonder, because y'all know Tazzy Farms remembers, way back yonder, okay, it was a cutesy little piece that multiple media outlets ran talking about a whole birthing vacation situation where wealthy women of a certain hue or lacking hue would come over, give birth, stay for a little while, fill out the paperwork in these little posh little birthing centers like birthing suites, and then go back home. They're not staying here. The only thing they've contributed to us is paying the medical bills to pop out their baby. Hey, DJ. And let us not forget, let us not forget to talk about the people who do happen to give birth here, never fill out the paperwork because they don't want their children to have citizenship, and they go back home. They just happen to be here and give birth. And we also have to remember the whole argument regarding the HB1 visas and people like Elon Musk wanting to use these people en masse to come in, work for a period of time for their companies, basically a new twist on slavery, and then they go back home. There are people who are here for a short time, not a long time. They're not even having a good time here. Hey, DJ, thanks for joining us. So, just like I remember the Canadian caravans. First time I ever heard about a megabus was when it was on the news that everybody's meemaws and papaws were getting on them megabuses going over to Canada to get their medication because they could no longer afford it here in the United States. Huh? And now the children of those meemaws and papaws want to sit there and tell you that the universal health care and the pricing in Canada is not a real thing, it's not a good thing, and it's not going to be a benefit for us. Huh? These are the same people. Shut the border, build that wall till you need to go across it. Because there is a great migration going on with non-melanated folks infiltrating and trying to Christina and Christopher Columbus, Mexico right now. Why? They can't afford to live here. They have chronic illnesses that they cannot afford to sustain and maintain here, so they're going elsewhere. But people are coming here to abuse the rules that we made. You want to ensure that people in this country are documented, that they can be counted. Okay, we said let's give them an app. Give them a little track phone, give them an app. We can track them throughout the country. We can make sure they show up to court. If they don't, we can skedaddle them on out. Republicans were like, nope, take the phone away, take the app away. We made the rule for asylum, for you got to be here in the country. You got to touch down in the U.S. to start the process. People are doing that. Nope. We sell people the dream that America is the best, the greatest. If you make it here, you can make it anywhere. But then we make it impossible for them to be here, get here, and get citizenship. We drag out the process. We make it expensive as hell on top of living here expensively. This is why the Afrikaners, the white people out of South Africa, was like, I'm out. Get somebody else to do it. A lot of white people go on the bus to get weight loss surgery. Yes. Yep, they do. The same countries that people are talking crap about right now are the same countries, for at least as long as I've been alive, are the same countries people were going to get elective surgeries, necessary surgeries, all sorts of things, and come back and brag about it. People, I remember when people used to take what I call fashion trips, where they would go to all these different places, get all of their designer, take that designer however you want, stuff and bring it back and act like that they just they was cashing out on Rodeo Drive. Yep. And it's like if you know things are better in other countries, why don't you vote them into place here? Just like when TikTok shut down for a bit for folks in the US, and everybody was over on Red. Oh my God, do you see they got this? Oh my goodness, you see they get this? And I loved when Keith Lee and his family went over and they were doing a bit of a tour over in Asia. I don't remember all of the countries that they went to specifically, so don't hold me with that. My apologies. Um, they were talking about different experiences and different things that they had over there that they said they wish we had over here. Instead of wishing for, dreaming about it, voted into existence. And the first bit of voting you need to do is getting down there for those school board elections, you know, the true Republican pipeline, and make sure that the children, the next generation, are properly educated. Stop just being an advocate for education when your children or when you are in school. Because guess what? Regardless if it's your child or not, people being educated right now will be in control of you later. Whether they're going to be your police officers, your nurses, your doctors, your engineers, your researchers, your whatever. Y'all mad because cashiers cannot make change for $1. That's one thing that my papa instilled in me. You keep voting, you keep making sure that there are funds for education and that education is equitable. Because we do live as a collaborative, as a collective. That next child coming up might be the one to have the cure for what ails you. That next child graduating may have that innovation that makes things so much easier for your life. But in the United States, you're taught compete, 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 compete. And that compete has caused this to become a nation of crabs in the barrel. When are you going to stop lusting after what other countries have and bring it home? That's like going to visit your best friend's house and liking how she decorated the house and going back to your house and complaining, but not doing anything to change the decor in your house. Just walking around complaining about it. Then when people go, well, why don't you just change? Well, I can't. It's your house. The United States is a dumpster fire of making your own rules and then confining yourself by the rules that you can change. The rules can evolve. You got men out here complaining, talking about what women want and don't want, but they never asked a woman what she wants or don't want, because every relationship is just like every person, individualistic. But they're going off the rules set by men. Change them bitches. People still living in a glass ass closet because of the rules they made regarding LGBTQI. Change the rules. Y'all keep failing open book tests. You sat there and had buyer's remorse, and you still having buyer's remorse because you bought the wrong POTUS. And you didn't learn anything from not voting for Kamala Harris. And what did you do? Did vote for Jasmine Crockett, out here making videos like you've done something personally to her. And then when the storm hits you again and you sitting there crying, well, black ladies, go screw yourself. If something is uncomfortable for me, where I'm determining the rules, that discomfort has to go. That rule has to change. Why do this? It is the most ridiculous thing out there. And why do you keep doing this and then taking it out on the rest of us? You're no longer a child being bullied by your parents at home. So now you're going to come out to the schoolyard with the rest of us and take out your anger with us. You turned into your own bully. Y'all lie to protect your favorite politician, and why is that a thing? Y'all spend more time making memes, fake websites, and everything else than you do taking care of your own undercarriages and the products of your undercarriages. You're wondering why divorce rates are so high because y'all are too busy trying to own the next person online than cultivating any type of foundation. Move your butt. Like, y'all are so smart but so dumb at the same time. Excuse me. Y'all act like you can understand geopolitics, but you barely understand your own domestic politics. You're a jack of all things intellectual, but you got mofos on here clipping videos that are readily available on public platforms, and you're out here demonizing folks because what? Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Mandy. I don't get it. I really do not get it. At this point, the vast majority of people in the United States cannot call anybody else a Karen. This is a country of Karens. Karens and Richards running amok. You want to point a finger and criticize all these other countries that you know nothing about. You ain't stepped foot on their soil. You ain't cracked open a book, a magazine, a website about them, nothing. Somebody told you you should hate them because they're not you, and that's it. But you want everybody to accept you and love you. And yes, MAGA, right now I'm talking to you. Because those of y'all trying to slip and slide, dip and dab out of MAGA, instead of doing it quietly, you want to do it so publicly and boastfully with making zero changes after showing us who you hate and why. You hate people for just existing, but you're mad that people don't want to love you because of your ridiculous, atrocious, tyrannical views and ideologies? Where they do that at? Y'all are out here trying to sensationalize cases and stories that are already sensational enough on their own, that already have more plot twists and turns and bonus characters popping out every day. And you'd rather sit around and make up new narratives, conspiracy theories, than actually work on handing down justice. But when that atrocity comes knocking on your front door, then you want the rest of us to rally around and fix it. You've created the climate. You've made it okay for victims to be bullied. You've made it okay for victims to become the butts of jokes. You've made it okay for millions of children every day around the world to die horrifically. Because you'd rather cosplay the next great writer than do any damn thing. You want to sit down and wait for somebody else to damn do it, but then praise civil rights leaders and activists of days before. They didn't do it alone. The movers and shakers and the ones that actually got us actual change and forward motion, you don't know their faces, you don't know their names. And before you sit here and tell me that you did, how many of y'all just learned about Claudette Colvin when she died? How many of y'all know about the Black school teachers that risked their jobs, their safety, and their sanity to use the school's printing presses to get newsletters out, to get people informed? Only in the United States can you dedicate months and classes to talking about how successful boycotts, protests, litigation, and legislation were for people to now go, that ain't gonna work. That's my favorite store. That's my favorite team. I can't miss that. I'ma go. You don't need my little funky $5 ain't gonna make a difference. But that same funky $5 is incredibly important if somebody would have borrowed it from you and you need it back. We're now to the point of insanity and utter stupidity. Hey, Nana J, that people are now trying to say and acting like, oh, yeah, this is right. I'm a historian. I teach at the local college. This is absolutely right. That Black people created the system to enslave Black people. I'm going to need y'all to miss me with this. It is like y'all wake up every day and say, how can I be the dumbest mofo on the planet today? If you realize something is atrocious, why not work to make sure it never happens again? Why not work to erase the long-term effects of it instead of sitting here going, nope, y'all had to do it to yourself. And what they're mixing into the pot of stupidity when it comes to that now, oh, y'all not going to believe this one. You're not going to believe this one, is that Black people are keeping up the lie that white people created chattel slavery because Black people want to move up in society, and that's how Black people are going to do it. What? Huh? What? When has being the victim of anything turned a Black person into a victor, propelled a Black person up in society? Oh, yeah, Nana Jane, there's a woman. And unfortunately, there are hundreds of thousands of people at this point liking the video and in the comment section on TikTok. She said with her full chest that we Black people are keeping up the myth, the lie that white people created chattel slavery as a way for us to move up in society without doing the work. If non-deconstructing white people put as much energy into themselves, their families, their livelihoods, their personalities that they do, trying to denigrate and police Black people, they would be better people. They would be more likable, and they would have the things that they feel should be just given to them. And the kicker is, looking at this woman, I thought she was Ashkenazi Jewish. According to her, she is not. And I'm like, oh, I hope she never does a 23andMe because she's going to be one of them white folks that has a complete meltdown when she realized she's been lied to her whole life about her familial lineage. This is why I tell y'all all the time, non-deconstructing white people do not pay attention to phenotypes. This is why they're always shocked to find out this person, that person, this person is not white. And they get comfortable and start spewing their hate, believing that their skin color unites all of them into one train of thought. They truly believe that they are a monolith. This is why so many people are able to pass, because they don't pay attention to anything else. There's a young lady right now going semi-viral over on Facebook. She's at the dinner table with her very blackety black father, okay? I'm like, yeah, just a white passing Black girl. And everybody in the comments is hilariously eating her up. Like, is the white passing in the room? Because they're like, one, you look just like your father. Phenotype, we know you're a black woman. Two, we can see your hair, Sister Cat. We can see your hair. But we know what type of neighborhood you grew up in. And they just looked at your light complexion and gave you a white pass. They didn't look at nothing else. Your curls was loose enough that you just became their little curly Sue. For non-deconstructing white people to proclaim that they are just the bar to be reaching for. They don't work on being the bar to be reached for. Like in my life, I've run into many people in many different industries that decided they were the self-proclaimed GOAT of that industry. Okay. There was a Jewish man way back in the day that labeled himself the world's greatest entertainer. You know what he did? He worked his butt off to try to at least portray to you that that's what he is. Like most people, if they're like, yeah, I'm the greatest at this, they work at it to make it at least believable, if not 100% true. But non-deconstructing white people don't work on it. But white privilege isn't a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And MAGA, good luck with your military recruitment. One, you've turned off thousands of families who had people that previously were gung-ho, ready to enlist, that will never, because of how you've treated their family members who served. It was already becoming a slippery slope when people were forced to come to the realization that, hey, U.S. is lying to you. You can come over here and serve. They're not going to help you with your immigration process. You're not going to be guaranteed anything. But there are too many stories like the following. Dad, 41, who fought with U.S. troops, dies hours after being detained by ICE. Let me explain something to you. I would not be resting in peace. I would be haunting every bit of this administration. Now, I don't know what his afterlife plans are. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. A father of 6 who fought shoulder to shoulder with U.S. troops in Afghanistan died just hours after he was detained by ICE. Mohammed Nazir Paktiawal, I hope I said the last name correctly. My apologies if I did not. 41, served as an Afghan Special Forces soldier from 2005 and worked alongside U.S. Army Special Forces for more than a decade before he was evacuated by the U.S. and resettled while he sought asylum. Hey, Squishy. This is a part of the immigration conversation that is not had. Immigration is like a parfait. There's layers to it. And what's heavily egregious right now is that the United States evacuates large numbers of people regularly, resettles them here as they go through the process. These people didn't sneak in the middle of the night. Essentially, they were given an invitation. It was supposed to be a quid pro quo. Hey, we're over here screwing up your government nonetheless, but if you help us a little bit, we'll help you a little bit. Come on over here. And now they're being rounded up. And before being rounded up, the amount of people who were ostracized, bullied, all of these things, because no one, I don't want to say no one, most people choose not to learn about the immigration process, and they rely on talking points, which to me is hilarious. It is hilarious. I have watched people crying their eyes out, sitting in front of their burned down homes, just asking if anybody knows of any services they can go to utilize because of the tragedy. Just asking for services, asking for advice. And people will go to the ends of the earth to research them, to find out what butt cheek has a pimple on it and what butt cheek doesn't. But when it comes to things that really do affect your day to day life and your wealth of knowledge, people don't want to look into it. I deliver a lot of news and history every single day. And I always tell people, please go verify what I say, fact check. If you got additional information, please add it. If there's something you want me to focus on, let me know. And I'll do my best. If it's out of my scope of knowledge, I generally can find somebody who it is within their wheelhouse to direct you to. If I can't, we can look together and we can find it together. But I get the most pushback, the most commentary when I'm giving my opinion or my lived experience. If I'm sharing my point of view, then I got people wanting to research everything from the rooter to the tutor. Now, research is fine, but you have to learn how to research. And I'm going to give y'all some advice because there's a lot of situations floating around the social media sphere. Okay. And a lot of people are finding themselves on the wrong side of some of these situations out of sheer ignorance. I'm not going to say stupidity, sheer ignorance. So we're going to eliminate that ignorance. Okay. There are laws that do not crisscross from state to state. The order of operations in your state may not be the order of operations in somebody else's state. You also need to think about that county to county and city to city. I think y'all have forgotten that we do have very local governments all the way up through there to the state and then to the federal government. And there are some things that there is no federal legislation on. It is legitimately up to the states. Because a lot of you all in your research, you're researching and you don't realize this in your neck of the woods, so to speak. So if you're looking up, say, how to get a restraining order, Google is going to take you to the order of operations where you live. If you're trying to verify somebody in, say, Florida, you need to type in how to get a restraining order in Florida. And if you know the county, that's even better. Two, great tip that I learned from a group of researchers many years ago, because the internet can be a tricky place to navigate when trying to verify information. You will start to collect trusted sources as you research more on the internet. You will figure out what sites you can truly trust, what people you can trust, all of these things. You will figure out as you vet people and places on the internet what to do. But always be leery of people who cannot give you the links. And what do I mean? Anybody who follows me on TikTok, a lot of times, if somebody has said something really egregious or really controversial, I don't tend to like to just stitch their videos. I will go and take the whole video, let it play for you, and then I will give my commentary. Because even if they leave the video up and you go back, sometimes you can't. You may have that person blocked. That person may have blocked me in the meantime. Sometimes people do a dirty delete and re-upload with edits. So you know exactly what's being addressed at that time. When somebody goes and splices and dices and doesn't tell you where the source material came from, I'm not saying that they're always lying, but they tend to always be lying, if you catch what I'm putting down. If somebody is going to put up as evidence an email or text messages and there's no context given and virtually everything is blacked out, if you could catch on that that was BS in the Epstein files, why can't you catch that it's BS when it's on social media or on the internet? If I tell you that out of the blue, somebody texts me and cussed me out, but I'm only showing you 2 squares of messages. Who do you think the liar is? Lastly, victims tend to get vocal online when they've exhausted everything legally through the court system, or if the legal system is not taking them seriously and now they need the public support in order to fight for justice. You're not going to have an open case and keep talking about it. Because if it comes to needing a jury, who do you think has now tainted the jury pool? Whether they believe you or not. If they get called in to be a part of your jury for your case, you've already swayed their thinking. Whatever evidence is presented in front of you, in front of them, they're not going to judge it by its evidentiary standing. They're going to judge it by whether or not they like you and what they saw of you online. I need y'all to think about that. Okay? Um, and for people that are always saying, well, I'm autistic, I have pattern recognition. Do you? Because grifters tend to have the same script. And not enough of y'all have picked up on the script. Not enough of y'all have picked up on the script. And there is an order of operations to how they grift you online. And given that mental health is not doing the best for virtually anybody right now, you really need to be on your game, because I fear, in looking at patterns before that have happened with online cults, I feel that there is another one brewing, specifically on TikTok. Some of y'all knew about the cult Daddy's Girls. There was another one that was supposed to be helping Palestine, but it turned out to be a cult. They got me good in the past. Yeah, you live and you learn. I'm not saying that, I always knew this, but if I find things that have kept me safe, and I'm going to share it with y'all. I want y'all safe too, and I want y'all in the know. Okay? You all are valuable to me, even if this is your first time here. And even if you decide I'm not your cup of tea and you ain't never coming back, I still value you and I still care about you. Therefore, as I learn stuff, I like to share it with you. Okay? When I say we learn together around here, I'm not just saying it to say it. I mean it. Now, sometimes I do get a little excited about the stuff that I learn, and I run over here to tell you. Some of the stuff I tell y'all be too happy to give me credit for telling y'all about it. Like the super gonorrhea. I can tell you how many comment sections I've been in, and one of y'all bringing it up, and then you got the nerve, you're tagging me. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. But I love y'all, though. I love y'all. Yes, with the grifters, they generally will originally paint themselves as being strong and victorious and that they've conquered all of these things. Then all of a sudden, they're a victim that has no idea what to do, and they need you to save them. But subsequently, they keep having all these calamities that they previously told you that they leaped over, and they were the victor in all these other times. And then the more and more you feel like, oh, I got to save them, I got to save them, I got to save them, I got to save, you're not saving them. Okay? You're not. Yes, each day that we wake up, we have the potential to run into a new situation that we've never faced. Lord knows I've had those days. Okay. And I've had those instances where I've been in some pickles and I did not ever know the flavor of them pickles. Okay. I just know I don't ever want to have it again. Catch what I'm putting down? But if I tell you, hey, I used to have this, I had this horrible situation with the slumlord, and I had to do all this research into the slumlord. And oh, child, I got through it. And now I know all the ins and outs on how to avoid a slumlord and how to defeat them in court. And I can teach you. And then 3 months later, I'm telling you that I'm back in the slumlord situation. Please run for the hills. Yes, I need $29.99 from everyone to save me. Yes, like run. And don't take this as me judging anybody. Like I said, these are lessons that I've learned also. I have learned these lessons. I have been manipulated by people, and that's what made me very hypersensitive and very hyper focused on it. And we know when I get bored or I can't sleep, that's what I do. Do we have a Jane Fonda for? I don't know if we have a Jane Fonda for our generation, cuz. So yeah, don't take this as like I'm criticizing or anything. No. I'm pretty sure, or at least I hope, nobody was like manipulated to the point that I was with one person. Because I was like, this was years ago, but it's almost $1,000 down the drain. That was not a good time. But we live and we learn. That's the important. We live and we learn, and we do better the next day. Okay. We do better the next day. Don't get down on yourself. Just take some mental notes or take some actual physical notes. That's part of the reason why when I tell y'all I keep a book in my purse. That's part of some of the things that I jot down. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Okay. As my one cousin says, take it as a badge of honor that humanity still lives inside you. Okay. So now, in closing, in the last few minutes, for anybody who saw the Villains View last night, thank you for your kind words, your support, and I'm still getting through DMs that people sent me. Bear with me. I did not do Epstein Maxwell updates earlier today. I just was not feeling like it earlier today. I was still getting myself together. I shouldn't say I didn't feel like it. I was not in the right headspace. That's better. But there will be a book reading later today. Open discussions will still happen. I want to say, I'm not okay right now, but I want to be, and I will be. And I'm working towards that. It is just very hard because I am very, very sensitive. And I really stay in my little lane and in my little bubble. And it perplexes me when people just outright, out of nowhere, hate me. I understand everybody is not going to like me. And just because to me, somebody is friend shaped does not mean I'm going to be friend shaped for them. I get that. I understand that. I'm okay with that. But you can just decide not to rock with me and also not be me. And you also don't have to pretend to like me just to go behind my back and act like you have dirt on me to my actual friends. Because if you think they don't tell me, they do, and they do immediately. Oh no, just I'm pretty sure you would have got your account banned last night if you would have saw some of the comments that were coming in towards me. So I'm trying to do this and not cry again. I thought about what I was gonna say and I promised myself that I wouldn't cry. So yes. You can want to be close because I've got some amazing friends from the Villains Guild, from Eager, from GCPR. So I understand people want to be cool with them. You don't have to be Oh, I pulled it out, Nana. I pulled it out. You don't have to be mean to me. That is not the gateway of getting close to them. So, um, just please remember, I am a human being too. Yes, DJ. Yes. There are people who have gone so far as to send full on emails. So, you know, just don't do that. Okay? We all have enough on our plate. Let's just let's just divvy up what's on our plate, share it, and get through this hellscape together. I don't know if they smile every day, Nana, but yes, they do. And it just all came to a head because here recently, I don't like I said last night, the past couple of months, I don't know what it is with the influx of people just being outright disrespectful to me. I don't know. And in two instances, it was the same person, was disrespectful to me and then immediately pulled back and acted as if I was doing something to them. I honestly didn't even have a moment to even react when they did that, and it just doubly stunned me. Um, yeah. And closing out the week last week and having one particular troll that's yeah. Thank you, DJ. So let's not do that. Remember, I'm gonna bring you history. I'm gonna bring you the news. There's definitely going to be shenanigans because it's me. Um, so, like my good buddy George says, you've been tasked. But yeah, let's not do that. And no, it's okay. The crazy primary custodial minion of mine got wind of a couple people who have yeah, they getting cussed out real good right now. Yeah. Um, and he's hilarious because he's over 30. Talking about just so you know, I'm about to say some bad words to some people. Jesus Christ. Yes, peanut butter cups for everybody. And if you missed it, I did post yesterday on TikTok about yesterday's experience at church. Don't ask if I was in timeout at this point. You know the answer. I feel like it's redundant. But there you go. Why was I in I'm always in time. It wasn't really my fault though. People should know not to ask me certain questions because there's no 45-second delay in real life. And I also, oh yeah, I got to start my homework. I got homework. And I was like, I don't even go here anymore. He's like, your phone works, doesn't it? Oh. And I got to go through my Hebrew and Greek notebook because my dad and my uncle had to grade it. So, do you wear a t-shirt? It's in Chicago. I will be wearing it when I get back. I brought very little down here with me because I have so much to bring back up. Yeah. So, as always, thank you all for joining me. And I was going to try to squeeze in an Erica Kirk update in between, well, before the open discussions, but I think that would be running it a little too close for comfort. Plus, Mr. Man is over there glaring at me, so I'm pretty sure he has to go potty. So we're just going to go outside. That shirt was lucky for me. Just got a new vehicle. Woohoo! Yeah, Andy. Those of y'all didn't hear, Mandy's Taz shirt was lucky. Just got the new vehicle. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm in timeout, TJ. I am. Yeah, I'm in timeout. And yes, my nephew is still blocked. He's bitter about it. I don't care. I'm not unblocking him, especially since he's recruited reinforcement. The reinforcement is my kids, but still. As always, each one teach one, each one reach one. I'll see you later.